Welcome back everyone to Welstopia. I've done a little rearranging since the last episode. I decided to remove the tunnel from here, and instead I moved the tunnel down here. I'll show you that in a moment. I also built this little nook for sleeping and adding a little bit additional storage because the storage over there is quickly getting filled up. And I built a new tunnel down here. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with that right there, but I suspect that there is a spawnable area around there somewhere because I logged on today and there was a bat flying around, and bats require dark areas to come out at. They don't need as dark an area when it is near Halloween, but it's far enough from Halloween now where that won't be the cause there. Now down here I did a lot more exploration of the mine shaft area down here. And I've done quite extensive exploration of it. I've gone down there, lit quite a few spots, but you could see that there's still a few areas for mobs to spawn. I've gone all through here trying to see my best ways of getting lost and somehow getting found again. Now what I'm doing is I'm placing a torch on top of diorite every so often on this end, on the right end. If I see diorite on the end on a torch, it means I'm going out, and if I see it on my left, it means it's going to eventually lead me to the exit. And I came up with that after getting lost a couple of times in here. So that's what I was up to in addition to trying to widen my tunnel here. But today we are going to actually start to design the tunnel that we are going to be going through in here so that I could get it to its full width. Before I get started, I need to consider what I'm going to do with storage as I get deeper into the area. I went into the marketplace and I found that someone was selling these things, which are shulker boxes. These are new to 1.11, and I'm not good at going into the end, so someone was selling them for 15 diamonds each. So that took just about a stack of diamonds there. And what I want to do with these things, though, is alright, it's probably best not to use a die in order to break these, but you can use just about any tool, it'll just insta-mine it. And what I want to do with these is to dye them, so I'm going to get one for red. Hopefully I can remember what I put into which box. Red, green, one blue, and one yellow, so I could have one of each. And there we go. So now I have 4 boxes, and I'll just load them up with some material each. So let's figure out what I want to put into each one. I figure I could put rails into one. So I have all these rails here. I'm not going to be able to hold them all at once. So therefore I figure I could have one shulker box that has rails. So let's put... Okay, we'll put red for rails. That will work by alliteration, I guess. So therefore I could put all of my rails into there. And right, so I could keep my rails here. Now, if I'm in a place, going to any place dangerous or anything like that, what I could do is I could just transfer them into my ender chest and keep the chests in there. Oh, that's right, I could just hover over it. It'll give me a quick recap of what's inside there. So, therefore, if I do forget, it won't be too much of a problem then. Alright, so we could have cobble going into one of these. So, alright, I'm not going to worry about it too much, seeing just having different colors. Maybe someday I'll remember which one is which. Actually, I want to keep maybe 2 cobble on me. Alright, that's our second one. Our third one. Well, maybe I should have red for redstone. That would be kind of make some sense. But you get the idea on that, and I'll think on those in a moment. Because right now we need to worry about what we're going to do about here. Now the entrance, since that's going to be a transition point, I first want to see what I'm transitioning into before I actually work on the matter. So this is going to have to look like some sort of a subway station, I think, in the early parts. And that's going to be a relatively short area, maybe about 9 by 9. And then that's going to narrow down into my actual subway tunnel, which is where my rail line is going to go. Now I'm thinking of having a double rail line. What I mean by that is, well, let's just plop this down here and I can show you what I mean. Let's see where far is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, let's say this is where we narrow down into our actual tunnel. So I'm going to have a double rail line like this. So therefore, this is going to be going in that direction, and this is going to be going that. Yes, I'm going to use American directions where you travel on the right side. And this is going to then go all the way down, and the other end. That way, if for some reason we have 2 people on the line at the same time going in opposite directions, they won't crash into each other unless one decides to use British protocol and the other one decides to use American protocol. And I'll just have to see if there's any efficient way for me to handling this in powering all of these. Maybe if I could just put a switch right here at intervals in order to power the power rails when I get to those. So that's my current plan on handling the matter. The first step of what I want to do is to widen this thing out. So I'm going to do some mining starting right here. And I'm going to get this tunnel so that it will be 9 by 9. And this will act as our station. The idea here is to present everything in a nice look as a welcoming. Oh, I think I've gone too far. To give a nice, pleasant presentation where we could enter and exit, and also have these rails split off. So therefore, we could have a platform in the middle, because if you ever, actually it depends on the station, because some stations like to put their platforms in the middle, and some of them place them on split sides. But this one will be where we come down, have a platform in the middle, and we'll go to whichever side we want. It's not symmetrical. I'll fix that. And here is what we have. I've cut this out to the right size. This is the middle part. I have the rail split. So this is where the endpoints would be. Of course, I might be able to discourage people from using this side by not putting a powered rail here. Actually, that might be a good idea. It's just avoiding a powered rail altogether and just making that stop, but powering a rail here that you could hit a lever and it starts you off. And then we go along our way. Now I have to decide what to do about these walls. When I recall New York City subway stations, I remember them for their white walls. They had these white ceramic tiles on them, and the station names, they were actually made from another color and had them out also done in ceramic tiles. So the whole wall system was done in ceramic tiles. I presume that was to last and to give them a bright feel to them, since that's what you'll need for that. So I decided to have a main color of polished diorite. Yeah, I know if his skull is listening to this, he is dying right now, saying, "No, not diorite." Yeah, diorite. So therefore, I am going to create a wall diorite here and see how it looks. Now, I am going to need something to break it up. For example, in the New York City subway stations I mentioned before, you would have the station name in order to add some color to it. And I, of course, will have some lighting, I think, in order to help break things up here. That's probably the best thing to do here, is to add some lighting. So the question is, what type of lighting would go well? Alright, so here is our basic wall. And we want something here that will help to give some light to the area, of course, and also make this not to look too dull. Now, one possibility, of course, will be to add some banners here. Now, these are the Pine River banners, but I could also add a banner or two from the stop, which means I am going to have to come up with an Oakland banner, but I figure some Pine Ridge banners and some Pinesmouth banners in order to welcome you here. Then obviously some banners on the other end to welcome you to whatever stations we have. So I'm going to get all this diorite up here and decide what I'm going to use in order to help to add some decoration to this place. At least the local walls have a little bit of diorite I could use in order to replenish my supply once I've used up what I brought with me. That's useful. Now that I have the diorite all on the walls, the question is how to decorate it. And what I want to do is to put a little pattern in here that reflects the station where we are going. Now, we don't have room to put the name of the station like you would at a New York City subway stop. So what I was thinking is to take something out of the flag for the local village. And in this case, the local village is based on the top of the lighthouse, where you have the pyramid and then the beam coming up on top. And this has helped to cover both the question of the decoration, but also it's going to help with the lighting, since in this case the lighting is included on the sea lanterns that I'm putting on top in order to help represent the beam. So I think that works really well together. And put this back here. There we go. And we can do that here. Good. Then obviously I'll need one more in order to do that. So I'll take a measurement to see how much light this gives, and that'll tell me what else I need to do for lighting. Now this takes care of lighting along the wall and the edges, but the center is a little bit underlit. For this I'll utilize something that I've seen in several subway stations, and that is lighting on the floor. What you do is you have some lights near the rail line. They're supposed to blink on and off when there's a train approaching, but I'm not going to go to that level for this. So if I'm not going to be blinking on and off, I might as well then just put it in the middle. What I can do is, for example, right here, I could put an end rod followed by well, oh come on. Alright, now that we've got that done, we can put the end rod there. We could put white stained glass right there. And I can put a piece of stone back here. And this is what we'll do every so often. We'll just put a little bit of lighting here. And perhaps that'll even be a theme all throughout here. Just having lighting put in with end rods. Because I was planning on doing end rods. I was thinking of putting the end rods on the end, but yeah, I think on the walls will still be better for the tunnels themselves. Because if I'm simulating a subway line, usually you see the lights along the sides when you're actually inside the main track area, and you only have something like floor lighting when you're at the station. So that's what I'm going to do for lighting at the station. But I also have to worry about this ceiling, because this looks pretty bad. And what I'm thinking of doing for that is having an arched ceiling. Like this. And up and further across. And here we have it, my ceiling pattern, which I think works well enough. I added the extra lighting down here. So now we just need a banner or two. I figure one right here in the middle to tell us the name of our station. And I was thinking that maybe we could have had a Pine River banner also. Actually, maybe we'll just put the Pine River banners over here, since this is going out to the main line, so that's Pine River in general. And then over here, especially after we get whatever pattern we want on the wall there, we can have here leading into Pinesmouth. And that is the Pinesmouth station to our subway. Now we still have to worry about the tunnel that goes down the main line, and of course through the entrance. But we're running out of that for today. Now we're not going to continue this in the next episode, because the next episode is episode 50, which means it'll be time for our server tour. And we will get onto that in the next episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Welstopia.